Rob Doster here. I got Jeff Goodman with me.
Hell no.
John Fink.
Are we still live?
Field of 68 till I die.
I'm sorry, man. I blacked out.
Randolph Children.
DJ Khaled, you know the big DJ Khaled guy?
Hands thrown up and in.
Goodman needs to be fired all the time.
Josh Pastner.
You're going to beat people straight up.
You know the deal.
They have no swag. They have no nothing.
Terrell McNeil.
From the bluest of the blue bloods to the smallest of the mid-majors.
This is Field of 68 after dark.
Hello and welcome
You're not hosting.
to day
No. You've
four
lost your
of the
hosting
NCAA
privileges.
Tournament. Field of 68 live at Mandalay Bay here in Las Vegas. It is me, your fearless leader, and your host, Rob Doster. I have John Henson with me.
With your
I have
eyes,
Terrence
you should
Oglesby
not be
with
hosting
me.
anything.
I have Jeff Goodman with me, and we are going to be breaking down 8 games today, the last 8 games of the first weekend of the NCAA tournament. We have 4 double-digit seeds with a chance to make it to the Sweet 16. We have 3 Cinderellas, but the one that everyone's talking about right now, and by everyone I mean John Henson, is Colorado. First game of the day, Colorado plus 4.5 against 2-seed Marquette. Henson, do we have a live dog situation?
We have a live dog. I think about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Yesterday was a fun day for Vegas. I mean, for people in Vegas. The lines were long. The favorites won.
You were in those lines.
Saw a lot of money going out. I'm not falling for the trap again. It will be balanced. I think today a lot of the dogs, I don't know necessarily may win, but it's been a lot of close games, starting with Colorado. I asked you guys before we got on the air. I think that because of Colorado's rebounding, they are going to limit it to one possession, and I think they're live, especially with the points. Since, BetMGM, I like Colorado today.
I was impressed with what Marquette was able to do in the second half of their first game in this tournament. They kind of regained their footing a little bit. Marquette, guys, offensively as good as anybody, still playing. I think that's a big thing. But this Colorado team, like Henson said, tough, they bored, and they got 2, maybe 3 pros on the team. That's one of the things that would cause me to pause a little bit when it comes to, just penciling in Marquette for the next round. This Colorado team's talented, and they've been overlooked for the better part of the year, and for good reason, like Jeff said yesterday. But this is not an easy game. This is not an easy route to the Sweet 16.
I think there's going to be a lot of upsets today. I really do. You look down the list, and you're like, okay, yesterday there was nothing. You could see, honestly, in about 5 of these games, you wouldn't be shocked if the dog wins, right? I mean, you look at Colorado, capable of winning that. Purdue, listen, they're probably not going to lose to Utah State, but
Don't tell Matt Painter that.
You look to JMU, Clemson could win, Grand Canyon could win, Texas A&M could win, Yale could win.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're going to get, out of the 8 games, I wouldn't be surprised if we get 3 upsets.
I love how you just didn't even mention Northwestern.
No, because they're not going to win.
Poor Chris Collins.
They're not going to win.
Poor Boo
I don't
Boy.
see the 1 seeds losing today. But again, we never do. We never do. It happens occasionally. I just don't think those 8-9s.
I can see Texas A&M pulling off the upset.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
I can see them beating Houston.
But not Purdue, not UConn.
We'll talk about when they get there. I want to ask you this, Goodman. I think it's 8 of the last 9 years we've had a team from the first 4 get to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. Is Colorado going to be that team?
I mean, they can be. Like, they can. I don't know if they're going to win that game. I still think it's the supporting cast from Marquette that has to show up. And Cam Jones has to be good too, and he has been. Most days the last couple of weeks, Cam Jones has been very consistent. Not always the case with Cam. Maybe sometimes he's too worried about his wardrobe going in. I don't know, but, I mean, the problem for them is some of those other guys, and like Joplin has to show up. They got to finish. I mean, listen, Kolek gets those guys the easiest shots of anybody in the country. Uncontested shots left and right. They got to make them.
All right, let's talk about some of those big dogs. James Madison, Duke, Grand Canyon, Alabama, Yale, San Diego State, T.O. Who do you think has the best chance to be able to cut down, to be able to make it to the second weekend?
I really like this Grand Canyon Alabama matchup, simply because I think athletically Grand Canyon's right there, and even though Alabama has Mark Sears, and even though they score 110 points or whatever they did in round one, Ty and Grant Foster is the best player on the floor, and they're going to have that. Plus, all that athleticism to be able to get back in transition, to stay in front of the ball, I think they provide a much different challenge than what Charleston did in the first round from an athleticism standpoint, and I think they're quick enough to at least stay in front of the ball.
Yeah, Grand Canyon also, they're top 5, I think, in foul rate and getting to the line. I mean, they're top 5 in those categories, which that could be a big deal. The way they kind of draw fouls, I haven't seen them play that much, but they're kind of like pros out there, how they kind of try to – they force the contact. And, you know, it's going to be a high-scoring game, so it's going to be a little more variation than it would be for low scoring. But I love Grand Canyon as a dog.
What's the
like
spread?
Jeff said, the spread is, I think,
6.5.
6.5.
6.5. But Henson, what's your favorite bet? Tell them what your favorite
Which
bet
means, like, yeah, Alabama could cover, like, at any moment
because
that's just how it works. But I like Grand Canyon. I love the points, too. It's going to be a fun game.
Grand Canyon team total over.
Team total over. You can't do it at the window. I checked this morning. I'm going to have to deposit for the app, and then I'm going to that's my one.
Why can't you do it in the window?
They said it's not in the computer. You know what that means? Hammer
They're scared.
it. That means just hammer it.
Yeah. They're worried about you. They're worried about John Henson. Whenever John Henson walks up to the window, BetMGM gets nervous. That's what I've discovered.
He's an intimidating figure.
Hold on, I got a parlay today.
All right, what we got?
We got
I love what Ed said. Pulls it out of there. You go.
We got
Looks like a CVS receipt.
We got Colorado plus 5.5. Grand Canyon, Alabama over. Only because I couldn't take the team total. Kind of scary, but you know I'm feeling good today. James Madison plus 9.5. A&M plus 11.5. San Diego State and Baylor money line.
What's that? What are we looking at there for odds?
Odds right now, that'll be a plus 1279.
There you go.
There you go. There you go.
I don't trust any single
what
things.
What Tio needs to do is he needs to go take his winnings from blackjack last night.
I know.
And boom.
I think what I'm going to do too, I'm going to put like
PJ back home.
$200 on like 3 or 4 dogs that we like. I'm going to, I'm listening.
That's actually.
I'm also on the show and I'm listening.
Yeah, today
taking
that's
notes.
a good idea.
Yeah.
I like it. I like Grand Canyon too. I mean, I haven't really been a huge Alabama believer. You know, I just
they don't defend anybody.
Henson's telling me there's some, chemistry issues too. So he's loading up right now. If Mark Sears doesn't play well, I just don't know. Now he has. He's on the offensive end. He's played well at seemingly every game. But what happens if he doesn't shoot the ball well? Like realistically, what happens? Where are they going to get their points from? They'll get some, but Grand Canyon to me has more weapons. They have more guys that I trust in a way. Like Grant Nelson's a good player, but I don't know. I'm kind of with you here. Like I like Grand Canyon. What is it right now?
6.5.
6.5.
Money line?
No, 5.5.
What's money line?
Money line is plus 170, which I hate.
Great.
That's not good value for Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
That's
Plus 170 is not enough.
It's not enough.
That's
you're right.
not enough.
No, you're right. You're right.
All right. My favorite underdog bet of the day is James Madison. I talked about this a little bit on Friday night show after James Madison beat Wisconsin. I don't think that this is a very good matchup for Duke at all because James Madison is going to be the team that looks like the high major team out there. They're bigger, they're tougher, they're more physical. They got some dogs, and they got some guys that can go out there and get you 20 TO. There's a reason why this team is 32-3. There's a reason why this team went into the Breslin Center and beat Michigan State. And there's a reason why they are only 6.5-point dogs against Duke. I love James Madison.
Well, they're tough. And one thing that we've been saying about Duke all year long is do they have that toughness factor, not only in the backcourt but in the front court as well. Like Filipowski, very skilled. I wouldn't say he screams toughness. And I think James Madison certainly does. That's one thing where I think they're going to be better than Duke in. Those 50-50 balls, Duke has to compete with those things because I'm not sure there's really a guy that's going to get out there and get those. Jeremy Roach has to be great today, in my opinion. He's going to have to create some other shots for guys because JMU really defends.
Yeah, and statistically, Duke profiles as a Final Four team, a championship team. So you have to think about that. I mean, 7.5 points. That's just a lot of points for a Duke team that we aren't sure about. So I think they're live. I like James Madison as a team. They've won 14 in a row, so we can throw them in that category of a hot team. They know how to win. They haven't lost in a long time. And
they've lost 3 times all season.
And
they're a 12 seed.
They are probably licking their chops watching Duke on film. And that's not because I'm a Tar Heel. It's just facts. So I'm excited to watch that game. That's one of the games I'm excited to see.
If you communicate in transition against Duke, and Jared McCain can't get 3 transition threes that are kind of these back-breaking threes, you can limit a lot of what Duke can do from a spurtability standpoint. If they have to inch by inch to win the game, I don't see Duke doing that against James Madison.
Yeah, I mean, you know James Madison's going in thinking they can win this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know they're looking at this Duke team, and like Henson said, like, all right, like, they're not that intimidating. What do we got to do here? And Filipowski comes off a game where he takes one shot. One shot. Ooh. Like, if you're that good, if you are an All-American, are you really taking one shot in an NCAA tournament game? No. Like you got to play bigger. You got to play better. He has not been what we thought he'd be this whole year. He hasn't. He's been good at times. Talking about chemistry issues, I wouldn't be shocked if Duke's got some chemistry issues in that locker room. I wouldn't be shocked at all. So I think they're vulnerable. I still think they win this game. I do. I think they find a way to win this game. And again, they got Roach, who's been there, done that before. McCain's talented. They got enough. They got enough, and I think this is one of those trendy picks that everybody's on. But listen, everybody was on James Madison in the first round, and it played.
And everybody was on Grand Canyon in the first round, and that worked out well. And everybody was on McNeese State, and that was an absolute disaster
That did not go
for
well.
those of us that had them. The one team we haven't talked about yet, the one double-digit seed, I don't even think we mentioned them. It's the last game of the day. Yale Bulldogs, the Eli's taking on San Diego State, T.O. I kind of like Yale here, too. Like, they're sneaking up on people.
Yeah, they are, and they have tough shot makers. And whenever you play San Diego State,
Johnny P.
They are Pulikaitis. Whenever you have guys that – oh, you got the Yale hat.
Represent New Haven. I got it right here.
Yeah. Pulikaitis, you got to have tough shot makers against San Diego State because those dudes defend. Positionally, they're great. They do a lot of those things that they're able to get open shots. And whenever they played Auburn likes to get up in the passing lanes, make you make mistakes. Mm-hmm. San Diego State's not quite geared in the same way. Both really good defenses, but San Diego State's much more positional defensively, and they're going to be able to stay in front. Lamont Butler, he's as good as there is in college basketball at guarding the other team's point guard. So I'm curious to see how it goes. The only thing that causes concern for me with San Diego State, those guys can go 6-7 minutes without scoring a point. And it has been that way all season long. I'm curious if Yale can kind of sustain their scoring enough. And like we said a couple nights ago, Danny Wolf is about as fun to watch as there is as far as 5 men in college basketball.
Yeah, I think with the Auburn game, stylistically, Auburn, they just overdid it. They Bruce Pearl talked about trying to speed the game up. They were fouling, fast break. They were it was just, and they had also the ejection. But I think San Diego State is going to make them score. They're going to make them beat them.
Yep.
And I personally don't see Yale just grinding out and beating a team like San Diego State. I just can't see it. If you stay in front of Yale, make them run their offense, limit them to tough shots, rebound, I think you send them home.
Look, just be in the game, man.
Yep.
Be in the game at the end.
Right.
Under 4 minutes, have a chance.
That's why I took.
That's literally what happened against Auburn.
Right.
Auburn
Hang around enough.
Auburn was up by 10 with I think it was like 10 minutes left in that game, and the John Pulikaitis,
Pulikaitis,
and he hit step back threes.
He was unreal.
Fadeaways,
and he's going to have to hit some of those today.
Yeah, he had like 4 or 5 of them in the second half to be able to bring them back from 10 points.
Did he get a haircut today or what?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he is.
Yeah, okay.
You got to look good.
If he did get a haircut, I'm fading him. Yeah. We got to find that out.
I'll text him.
Can we Zoom? Can we call somebody?
I'll text him as soon as we go to break. We'll find out if he got a haircut.
Okay.
That will be the breaking news we have when we come back. And we're going to talk about some of these big favorites. We're going to talk about the 1 seeds. And we have to go ISO here. We have to go 1-4. We have to let my man T.O. talk about his Clemson Tigers. That's next.
The best month of the year is here, which is why you need to know that we are now partnered with BetMGM. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68 all through the NCAA tournament. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can use the bonus code FIELD, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM, regardless of whether or not that bet hits. Here's the best part. All you need to do is deposit and bet $10 of your hard-earned money. This is how you make it work. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you get up to $1,500 in bonus bets, regardless of the outcome of your bet. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. Most importantly, we do have some fun stuff coming for the conference tournaments and especially for the NCAA tournament. Bet insurance tokens, college hoops odds boosts, and what I love the most, a nice parlay boost for anything you could possibly imagine betting on in the NCAA tournament, from odds and getting an at-large bid to Final Four futures to the highest seed to make to the Sweet 16. I'm calling it right now. BetMGM is the king of the prop bet for your March Madness needs. So go download the BetMGM app, use the code FIELD, and sign up today. And while I've got you, a quick request: the best way to support the Field of 68 and our content you get for free is to engage with us. Rate and review the pod, like and share the YouTube videos, tell your friends about us. It helps in a world where the algorithm is king. And now, back to the show.
Welcome back to the Field of 68 pregame show, day 4 of the NCAA tournament, live from Mandalay Bay here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Guys, we have some breaking news right here on the show. You know what I discovered today? I discovered that John Henson does a phenomenal Australian accent.
Oi! Deli was my teammate. Shout out to Matthew Dellavedova. Put me on Bitcoin early. I might have made a little money. Just saying. Just saying.
Henson just walks into it.
No,
it's unreal.
Right.
He walks
up.
he's
like retired. He's like retired. He's like an executive, like a Bitcoin company in Australia now.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Deli?
Yeah.
I like
just
Deli.
said it again.
No. I pulled out, but yeah. He's. I
So you're
don't
saying
know.
Deli
What's
doesn't
the,
pull
wait,
out?
trying
all
to-
right, so Deli was one of the best teammates who gave you good financial advice. Who was the teammate who gave you the worst financial advice?
You know, it's not even like I wouldn't say anybody gave anybody advice about financially, but me and Deli, obviously we played in Milwaukee together. We got traded to Cleveland together. So when you get traded with someone, you just become closer because you got to sit together. You got to go to the press conference, and it's the only guy you know. So we became close in Cleveland. And yeah, he was just like, "Listen,
So
man,
you're going to dodge the question.
No, I don't.
Nothing.
No, I don't.
Nobody gave you any financial advice?
literally cannot think of anybody who's like, "Hey, look, invest in."
Yeah.
Because the conversation even with Deli and me was just like, "Hey, look, Bitcoin is going up."
Yeah.
I did my research. He put a lot more into it than I did.
Yeah.
And now he's currently like working for a Bitcoin something in Australia. Wow. I mean, he's in it. Deli's probably got a lot of money. I'm just telling you right now.
Who told you to invest in NFTs? Anybody?
I kind of got into that space when it started rolling. I made some money in that too. But my financial guys told me, don't put what you're willing to lose in there. And that was the best advice I ever got because it went to the shit can very fast.
Quick.
But I'm a scary guy, so I a couple of my friends stayed. I pulled out. However, if you were loading up on Bitcoin right now, you're probably in a good spot.
Yeah, you're probably feeling pretty good.
But back to college basketball.
Back to college basketball. Clemson, 4.5-point dogs, 6 seed against number 3 seed Baylor. I feel like Baylor is the team that we have not talked about at all this entire week. They played the second tip-off on Friday.
Yeah.
We barely watched that game because they were up by like 30 early on Colgate, right? And we barely even talked about them on Friday night show. We didn't really hit them on Saturday. We're talking about them now. We're talking about your Clemson Tigers now. T.O., break it down for me. What does Clemson have to do to look up in – what time is that tip-off? That tips off in about 6 hours. So look up in 8 hours and be in the Sweet 16.
You know what? They're going to have to guard the 3. Baylor shoots it at an unreal rate, 39.9. And they have so many talented guards, and they come at you in waves. So you're going to have to defend the 3. I think that's the biggest thing if you're Clemson. The second thing is Chase Hunter has to be really, really good today. I mean, R.J. Dennis, some of these guys for Baylor, like, not a game. Not a game. Like, you're going to have to bring your A game. He's been very up and down this year. He went from having a 1 for 11 performance against Boston College in the ACC tournament to having, I think, 21 and 5 in the first round. He's going to have to be really good. To me, he's the swing guy for Clemson. If he plays well, Clemson is really hard to beat. If he doesn't play well, I think they're manageable. But Chase Hunter, you're going to have to knock down some shots, but do what you've done pretty much for the entirety of the year. Ian Shefflin, P.J. Hall, control the glass. I think that's another huge key.
Get back in transition.
Right.
For me, that's the key. Don't let Baylor get out and run.
Right.
If they get out and run, honestly, they can go, and they got enough guys who can make shots. Ray J. Dennis has been awesome this year, really underrated. Like one of those guards that, again, transferred up a level. You weren't sure how he was going to do, and he's been very, very good for Baylor. They got 2 freshmen, too. I mean, that's the other part. Like, Clemson's old.
Yes.
They're old. Baylor's got 2 first-round picks, maybe 2 lottery picks in Jacoby Walter and Yves Missy. And, like, Missy's he's a key here, too, because, again,
he's got his hands full
when he gets
today.
going, he's so long, he's so talented, but sometimes he looks like he can be overmatched. And again, you got some veteran bigs for Clemson.
Big,
right?
physical.
Yes.
Veteran bigs. Like that's the thing. P.J. Hall is 23 years old, and
Yves Missy looks a little bit like Hansen. He looks like he needs.
I wish I was more as athletic as Yves Missy. I might not be sitting here. Just saying. Baylor shot 16 for 30 from 3 last game. Part of me wants to say they won't shoot it that well today. So Clemson definitely has a chance to at least jump on them early and have them in a spot where they've got to try to come back. Because, I can't see them coming out the first half and scorching the nets again, but that's why we watch, right?
Yep.
All right, we have 3 number 1 seeds in action. Purdue, 11.5-point favorite against Utah State. That tips off. That's the second game of the day that tips off right around 2:45. We have Northwestern and UConn. UConn is a 13.5-point favorite. And we have Texas A&M
UConn.
and Houston.
Is that what we're doing?
Houston, 9.5-point
Well,
favorite.
Northwestern junks it up, man. They junk it up. They make it nasty.
Yeah.
So that 14.5 scares me only because UConn could probably be up 17, 18 points, and then Northwestern makes a run at the end or something, or they, it could be a comfortable
I don't know. Dan
double.
Hurley doesn't call off the dogs very
But
often,
it could be a comfortable win without them necessarily covering the 14.5. So
Did you see Hurley? They were up 33 at half, and
Yeah.
he was pissed going into the locker room.
yeah, because he knows he probably knew what's coming up next, right? Like,
Yep.
like I said, even yesterday, if you look at all the games,
I think he thought he knew what was coming up next. I think he thought he was going to play FAU.
maybe we don't know, right? But Michigan jumped on UNC first. They had to come 17-0 run or something like that. I think you're going to see something similar like that today, where the 8-9 guys, the talent's going to kind of flex their muscle. But I think I don't think UConn's losing per se.
I don't like the Northwestern side. Like what UConn does is they just wear you down and wear you down and wear you down. And all of a sudden you look up and
maybe 8.5 at the half, maybe. If you're gonna, I'm leaving that alone though.
Yeah,
Good point guards help, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Boo Boo is as good as advertised.
I was
too.
gonna say, like,
They don't have enough bigs.
yeah,
That's right.
I think if you're gonna make a play here on the Northwestern
That is true.
side, it's Boo Booey's over, right? Boo Booey's player prop. I just think that he is. When you're playing against the drop coverage of Donovan Clingan, like that's what Boo Booey excels at.
Yeah.
You get into the paint, you hit those little 12-foot jump shots. That's what UConn will give you. When
I think they're gonna.
Clingan
I think they're gonna take him out of the game. I think they're gonna make someone else beat them. Tristan Newton. I think they might. Not. I think they're gonna trap him.
If they do that, they're going to put Steph Castle on him.
Exactly.
That would be the matchup.
They have the. I mean, now that I'm like really thinking about it, even Jeff was saying with the bigs, their big man's hurt. UConn could roll.
It could get ugly.
Yes.
It really could
Yes,
get ugly.
yes, you're right.
Like, it wouldn't shock me at all if that one's ugly. I don't think the other two will be ugly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Purdue's – now, again, the one thing is you got Zach Edey against, 2 different bigs for Utah State. Great Osibor is terrific, but, again, he's given away probably 6 inches here. Isaac Johnson had a huge game their last game.
Yep.
They need him to be able to step out.
Him and
make some
Darius Brown
shots.
have to be
They all
incredible.
have to be good.
Yep.
Ian Martinez has to be good. The only way Utah State has a chance here, to me. You can give Edey's going to get his probably 30 and 20.
Yeah.
But what you got to do is make sure Fletcher Lawyer and Lance Jones have off games. And then you have a chance.
Yep.
And, again, that's all you want in an 8-9 versus 1 matchup. Just, again, under 4, okay, you look up and you're like, all right, we're down 4. We're good. We got a chance.
That backcourt has to be exceptional. And that's kind of it. They have to be great. Ian Martinez, Darius Brown have to be great. The thing that I run into is Great Osobor is so good because he gets other teams in foul trouble because he's so strong and so physical. You're not going to be able to do that against Zach Edey. And so you're basically taking away your greatest strength and then hoping the rest of the guys kind of get it together. The only thing that I could see happening is Great Osobor pulling Zach Edey out away from the rim and then trying to get past and then create a help. But he doesn't ever really need help. Zach Edey moves his feet better than people understand.
Yes.
At that size, he moves his feet better than people understand. This is a tall task for Utah State. But if those backcourt guards really get going from 3, it's possible, but not likely.
Yeah, the number 1 seed that I think is in the most danger is Houston.
Yeah.
And look, Texas A&M, we know how good Wade Taylor is when he's right. We've seen Boots Radford take over games before, but Manny Obaseki, that is the guy, right? That is the difference maker. He scored double digits in, I think it's 9 straight games now. He had 22 in the first round of the tournament against Nebraska. He had 25 in an SEC tournament game. Like, he is the guy that has taken them from being a team that we've seen beat some of the best teams in the SEC and struggle against some of the bottom teams in the SEC and turn them into one of the more dangerous teams in this tournament. They put up 58 points. I know Nebraska doesn't play any defense, Jeff. They put up 58 points in the first half against Nebraska.
Yeah, I just think here's the thing. Houston, the way they defend, Wade Taylor has to have a big game, and he can because he takes the craziest-ass shots you're ever going to find. So you can be great on him defensively, but he doesn't need any space. He can pull up from 30 feet. So, like, as much as you say that Obaseki's a swing, and he is, he's important for them, if they don't get 20-plus points from Wade Taylor, they have zero chance of beating Houston. So it starts with Wade Taylor, and obviously they're going to need Boots Radford and Obaseki to play well too. But I think they have a chance, and I love the points here.
Yes.
I do. I love the points.
Yep.
Slow-paced team. Stylistically, they rebound. Houston's defends. They make it, that's a lot of points for a game that could be one possession every team. And I think Kelvin Sampson kind of tipped us off the half. He's like, look, we are not the greatest. We are not an offensive juggernaut. We know what we need to do. And that scares me. I've been saying it all year. Houston, the only team that profiles as a champion that has won was a UVA team with Tony Bennett. One time in the last 2 decades. So I think they're as vulnerable as and Houston won by 4 earlier this year. So you wonder what adjustments are going to be made. They've played each other before, so they're not necessarily scared. I think A&M and Buzz, I like this energy as well as a coach. I think right now they're eating breakfast right now, shoot around like, hey, look, we got another shot. We know what we need to do. We know how we lost.
They got the athletes to match up with Houston, and that's half the battle. All right, we got about a minute left.
Yeah, live ball turnovers. Who wins that battle? And I don't think Texas A&M is going to turn it over all that much because Wade Taylor's going to shoot it before they have the chance to turn it over, so that helps. But that's where Houston thrives too, being an offensive team to where sometimes they can get in ruts. Being able to create those turnovers, get out in transition, changes things for them.
Give me your biggest outlier prediction, your boldest take. What do you think we're going to see happen today that's going to go wild? Yale going to get the win?
It's the hat on.
There it is. I think we got the Ivy League going to the Sweet 16 again for the second straight year.
I'm going to say that both Grand Canyon and James Madison win today. Both of them are in the Sweet 16. Both of them continue dancing. There's something, Gio, about those mid-majors that wear purple.
Yeah, there might be something about that. I think people are going to hate me for this one, but I think Colorado plays – that is going to be a really tight game all the way to the end. Might even be an overtime game. I think people are undervaluing how good Colorado actually is.
I'm going to go Utah State gets Purdue on the ropes. I've been I have been waiting for a team to come. I've been yelling matchup all year. Matchup. Purdue is Braden Smith in that Big Ten tournament He was overplaying, he made some big time mistakes.
You wonder if he's still not at 100% with
Right.
that knee.
And you can kind of get after him a little bit, and you can get him riled up a little bit. He's a fiery guy, so that could work against him. I'm going to go. I don't know if Purdue loses, but I think Utah State gets them on the ropes.
Yeah. All right, listen. Great day of games coming up. We got about 10 minutes before Marquette and Colorado tips off. Oso Ighodaro against Eddie Lampkin, one of the most interesting matchups. If Colorado wins, fellas, we get Eddie Lampkin against DJ Burns in the Sweet 16 of the NCAA Tournament. The right to go play in the Elite.
And then
Colorado
the winner comes out here and we buy them all you eat buffet.
Listen, if Colorado gets past Marquette, they will throttle NC
Just
State.
as long as we don't go to the buffet.
At Luxor?
The Luxor buffet.
Just
the Luxor buffet. Of
You
all
guys,
the
you
buffets,
guys say what you want. It
that's
was
where
walking
Tio
distance.
takes us.
What about the win buffet?
It was amazing. I was telling him about that.
He wouldn't pay for that one.
$250 a head.
That's what I'm telling you.
$250?
It's unreal.
$250 a head.
Wow.
I didn't even go to that one.
You can get whole lobsters.
I'm good.
Look, all I'm saying is that Tio had a good night playing blackjack. So if
Yeah.
we go, we might go. If we go, Tio's buying. This has been the Field of 68 pregame show. 10 minutes until the madness starts once again. Day 4 and